There are over 17,000 mortgage advisors registered in the UK right now. And if you are just starting out, that number probably feels like a wall. You look at it and you're going to be thinking that market is full, the good clients are all taken, and the people who got there, they've just already won. And I want to tell you that you are wrong with that, okay? Not to make you feel better, please understand that, just that it's factually wrong. And I'm going to show you why in this video. And more importantly, what you actually need to do about it, because here's what I have seen over and over again. The advisors who struggle to get clients are not struggling because there are too many brokers. They're struggling because they look, they sound, and they operate identically to all the others. Every other broker out there, the same website, the same post, the same pitch. When you're invisible, the market feels impossible. But when you're distinct, it pretty much opens up very fast. So here's what this video is going to give you: a clear picture of what the competition in this industry actually looks like, why most advisors are competing on the wrong things entirely, and the 3 specific areas where a new mortgage broker can actually build a real edge, even without years and years and years of experience. See, this isn't about working harder, it's about being clear on where to focus so the competition stops feeling like it's a real problem. So what does the competition actually look like? Yes, there are a lot of mortgage brokers out there right now, but most of them are operating without any clear brand, without a structured client journey, and without any reliable way to generate business outside of the people they already know, okay? They're technically competent, I guess. They know their products, which is cool, I guess. Again, they can run affordability checks, they can get cases through to offer, but they've never seriously thought about how they present themselves or why a client would ever choose them over anybody else. They think they have, but they haven't, okay? And what that looks like in practice is a generic website with a phone number and the same interest rate posts on LinkedIn every other broker shares, and the business that lives or dies on referrals from friends. Now, when those referrals slow down, there's no backup, there's no system, there's just a hope and a prayer. And so when you look at 17,000 advisors and you think the market is saturated, you're actually looking at is 17,000 people doing the exact same thing. And that's not a saturated market. That is an undifferentiated one, if that's even a word. And the first person willing to be specific, they're going to win. So let's talk about where new brokers get this wrong. You see, the instinct when you're new is to compete on price and availability. Lower fees, faster responses, take every client at any time, about absolutely anything. And they think that's how they're going to break in. And it's the very short term. It might actually generate you a case or 2 cases, but it immediately sets you up to a ceiling. And what it does is it attracts people making decisions based on cost, not on trust. See, the other mistake is competing on product knowledge alone. New advisors spend a huge amount of time, like massive amounts of time and energy, learning every single lender's criteria, every edge case, every single niche product. Then they wonder why it doesn't actually translate into more clients. See, here's the truth that people do not talk about with this, is that clients don't choose their mortgage advisor based on technical knowledge. They choose it based on how clear and confident you made them feel in that very first conversation. Knowledge is the entry requirement, but it's not why someone picks you. So if price and product knowledge aren't your edge, then what is? You see, there are 3 places where you can actually compete, truly compete, and actually get an advantage. The first one is positioning. This just means being clear about who you help and what you do for them. Most brokers try to help absolutely everyone. First-time buyers, remortgage, buy-to-let, self-employed, complex income. And because they try to speak to everybody, nothing actually they say ever connects with anyone in particular. You see, what you want to do here is pick a specific type of client or situation. See, self-employed professionals, first-time buyers in your area, people with complex income. When you do that, your content, your conversations, and your reputation, they all start to move in the same direction. You become the person people think about when that situation comes up. And that's not limiting at all, by the way. People think it is, but that's how you stop being forgettable. The second area is client experience. This is where most brokers leave the biggest gap from my experience, okay? And that is that they think about the last time a professional service genuinely impressed you, a solicitor, an accountant, an estate agent. It's rare. Honestly, it's really rare actually, because most service businesses are purely transactional. They do the job, they get paid, and they move on. They're done. And a mortgage broker who communicates proactively, sets a clear expectation, follows up after completion, and stays in touch between transactions, well, that broker, they get talked about a lot. And word of mouth becomes their biggest marketing tool. And building that experience isn't complicated. It's a process, a set of touch points that you design once and you deliver every single time. That's it. That level of consistency retains clients, and it also generates referrals in a way that posting on social media never really will. And then the third area is content and visibility. And I want to be direct because this is where a lot of new advisors waste a lot of time. Posting rate updates, sharing lender news, writing generic first-time buyer tips, that does almost nothing to your lead generation. It doesn't show who you are, what you think, why someone should trust you over anybody else. Content that actually works shows your thinking. It addresses the real fears your specific audience actually has. It makes the person watching it feel like you understand their situation. See, someone who watches 3 or 4 of your videos about getting a mortgage as a self-employed person isn't just watching videos, they're actually deciding whether they trust you. And by the time they've reached out, the decision is basically already made for them. They've done it. You don't need a big audience for this. You just need the right one. 10 people who see you as their go-to person for their situation is worth way more than 10,000 who couldn't even tell you what you do. The mortgage industry is competitive in the sense that there are a lot of people doing it, yes, but it's not competitive in the way that actually matters for building real businesses. Most brokers aren't positioning themselves clearly. Most aren't delivering a client experience worth talking about, subpar at best, and most aren't creating content that builds real trust. See, the bar for being clearly better than average is not as high as it looks. It's actually pretty low. You don't need to outmarket the biggest firms or out-experience brokers who've been doing it for 25 years. You need to be clearer about who you serve, more consistent in how you serve them, and more deliberate in how you stay visible to those people. The advisors who struggle most aren't the least talented, they're the least structured. They react to whatever comes in rather than building something that's deliberate. In a market full of people doing exactly the same thing, a bit of structure goes a long way. Start with one clear niche, build one clean client journey, create one type of consistent content daily is really best. Do those 3 things well, and your competition, all 17,000 of them and even more than that, they become largely irrelevant to your actual day-to-day business, to be completely honest. So if you are in the first couple of years and the market feels like a wall, it's not. The competition is real, but it's shallow. Most of it disappears the moment you decide to be specific, structured, and consistent. Now, if you want to know how mortgage brokers get paid, what that structure looks like, how much money they make, check out this video. I broke it down on screen. Give it a click.